Quick gut check for you. When Congress asked the Secretary of Defense, what was the risk? What was the evidence? Do we want an answer? Or do we want a little viral pop quiz and a culture war rant? Because that's the game in this clip. Does the accountability flip it into a gotcha, then smear the whole system as social engineering and call it married? All right, what's the pivot? What's how fast the question changes from justify your decision to let me embarrass you on camera?
The issue in front of this is whether the decision to remove General Randy George strengthened the Army or created an avoidable disruption during an active operational period. General George, who also served as commanding general at First Corps at JBLM, has been serving for 4 decades, including multiple command and operational leadership roles, culminating as Chief of Staff of the Army, responsible for readiness, force modernization, and the welfare of over 1 million soldiers and civilians. He was removed in the middle.
That's oversight. That's literally the job. She's not doing a TED talk. She's laying out stakes, continuity, readiness, trust. That is the part where a serious witness says, here's the reason, here's the rationale, here's what we weighed. Now keep listening, because he's about to do the classic move. Refuse specifics, then act like you're the problem for asking.
Of an active conflict involving U.S. operations against Iran when leadership continuity is most critical. Public reporting indicates that General George's removal may have followed disagreements over Army personnel matters, including concerns regarding withheld promotions. So my question, Secretary, is this: what specific national security risk, mission risk, or leadership concern did General George present that justified removing him in the middle of a conflict, or was he removed because he challenged some decisions being made?
As I stated earlier, out of respect.
There it is, out of respect. That's the shield. And then, boom, he doesn't answer the question. He throws a quiz back at the member of Congress. Not just, but just happened. The question was, what risk justified this decision? He hears that and goes, let's not talk about my decision. Let's test whether you can recite the org chart. That's not transparency. That's a stage prop.
To these officers, I don't discuss the nature of the removal, but I would ask an earnest question of you: where does General George fall in the operational chain of command?
So I'm asking you, why did you fire him?
No, but
don't change.
You
the
talked
subject,
about
sir.
you talked about
Please
an operational
answer my
moment.
question.
Where does General
Please
George
answer
fall
my
in the
question.
No, it's a
National
question.
risk,
You're on the House Armed
mission
Services
risk,
Committee.
Leadership concern. What did he present that justified removing him in the middle of a conflict?
Do you know where General George serves in the operational chain of command?
You are on the committee is not an answer. It's a scold. It's a posture. And I want you to clock the tactic. If he can get her to stumble on a technical detail, he gets a clip. He gets the headline. He gets the little own moment. Meanwhile, the actual oversight question, why the firing, what risk, what evidence, gets shoved under the rug. Watch how this escalates. This is where the hearing turns into performance.
So I'm asking you my question one more time, sir. Don't try to flip it on me. Why was he removed? Was he a national security risk, mission risk, or leadership concern?
We don't.
Yes or no?
We don't talk about the
okay,
nature
that's
of
okay.
removals,
Don't answer
but
the question.
you also won't answer where he is in the operational chain of command because he isn't in it. He isn't in the operational chain.
Your lady reclaimed your time.
You want to tie it to the war, but you don't even know where he is in the chain of command.
It's the gentlelady from Washington's time.
Okay, this is the backfires moment. They're shooting for. But here's the problem. Even if you've been your little chain of command to your night, you still didn't answer the core question. You just changed the subject and declared victory. Congress isn't there to play gotcha. Congress funds readiness, recruiting, weapons, leadership. I-9s. When the top civilian leader of the Pentagon starts yanking people and been holding promotion, what's that basis is not optional. Now, what Strickland do but serious oversight looks like. She brings receipts, policy, standards, and she asks which grounds but evidence.
Under Doty 1320.04, The Secretary of Defense may withhold or disapprove forwarding nomination after service recommendations in limited circumstances, including newly identified adverse information, pending investigations, reportable information, and questions regarding mental, physical, moral, or professional qualification, incomplete or non-compliant nomination packages, missing certifications, or the need for additional clarification from the military department. Several colonels
This is as clear as it gets. She's not asking for gossip. She's asking for categories and evidence, exactly what the rule contemplate. And this is where you find out if merit is real or just a slogan. So what does he do? He doesn't give the grounds. He doesn't give the evidence. He doesn't even try. He expands the scope, more removals, and keeps everything conveniently unverifiable.
poorly selected for brigadier general were removed or withheld after board selection and service certification. Which of these specific grounds applied to each withheld officer, and what objective evidence supported these decisions?
Congressman, that was just one of many boards across the services where we will perform similar reviews, and I anticipate other officers will be removed also.
Okay, but what were the grounds for those?
Again, we don't talk about, out of respect for those officers, we don't talk about the nature of that, and we all serve at the pleasure of the president. We're solving for an institution that needs to be based on.
Stop right there. He wants it, but the grounds were. But he's comfortable hinting there the system was rigged by gender and demographic engineering. That's not respect for officer. That's planting suspicion with zero specifics tells. That is how you poison an institution. You refuse transparency, then you smear the process so nobody trusts the outcomes unless the outcomes are the ones you wanted. And by the way, serve at the pleasure of the president is a real phrase in politics. But when you're talking about military leadership and promotions, people hear something else. They hear loyalty tests. They hear politicization. Sickland hears it too. And she asked the question out loud.
On merit and professional execution, and there's been a lot of gender and demographic engineering that's been going on for reasons other than the focus of exactly what we should be doing on the battlefield. So whether it's that or
I did not raise
execution,
gender.
that's implied in every statement that everybody makes. And
I
so
did not
ultimately, as
raise
we
that.
review all these boards, it has nothing to do with anything other than their performance on the battlefield or their performance in their career.
These people are thoroughly vetted, thoroughly researched. And I guess my question is this about loyalty to Trump, or is it about what's good for the mission?
That's the money question, because it cuts through this move. When you refuse to provide the objective evidence, when you announce more removals, and then just start ranting about demographic engineering, you are begging people to wonder, is this about performance and readiness at politics? And notice, she didn't accuse him of a crime. She didn't invent a secret memo. She asked, but every sane person watching would ask, what's just standard? And is it being applied consistently? Or are we doing ideological cleansing with a flag on town? Now, listen to his reply. This is where the birds call big and details go missing.
I understand what you're implying, but it's about the Constitution and our military and its ability to execute. And I'm going to make sure the president has the finest officers across the force prepared to deliver.
So this committee funds weapons, readiness, recruiting, professional development, and leadership pipelines.
The Constitution is not a substitute for an answer. Finest officers is not evidence. This is what officials do when they want applause but not accountability. They wrap themselves in sacred nouns: constitution, military, execution. So you forget the actual question was which grounds, but objective evidence. And now comes the part that should make your blood pressure rise, because he takes merit and turns it into a partisan love.
But no amount of money can compensate for a force that may lose trust in the fairness of advancement. And this is fairness. We believe in merit. We have always had a merit-based system. That's not the argument.
No, we have not. Not under the
But as
Biden
we
administration,
consider-
we did not. It became social engineering, not merit, and we're
No,
fixing it.
Fixing it quick. Based on what? With but proof. Under but disclosed standard. That is the tell. That is the whole flip in one sentence. Is not answering oversight. He is delivering a culture war monologue. Because but fairness actually means in a promotion system, clear criteria, documented grounds, consistent process, and accountability to civilian oversight to Congress. What he's offering instead is trust me, I won't show you the evidence, but I promise the bets are better now. And also blame the last guy. That's not how a democracy runs its military. That's how you turn a professional institution into a political instrument. Let me make this simple. Rep. Strickland came in asking for the basic minimum. What dress justified defiant, what grounds justified withholding promotion, and what objective evidence backs any operate. And the Secretary of Defense answer was a dodge, a pop quiz, and a pertinent accusation about social engineering with zero specifics you can evaluate and zero transparency you can trust. And if you care about a strong military, you should be furious at the politicization. If you care about democracy, you should be furious at the contempt for oversight. And if you're tired of MAGA ecosystem turning every serious question into viral gotcha, congratulations, your instincts are working. Because this hearing wasn't about merit. It was about evading accountability by lighting a culture war match under public trust.